Good morning again. It is unit time. It is time for us to find out the next piece of art from our mystery art gallery. Yesterday we opened number 4, which means today we are opening number 5. Are you ready? Let's have a look. Again, something with color. Very different from whatever we've seen before. I'll let you have a little look. This is a painting. What do you see? Do you think this is a good painting? Would you say it was easy to do or difficult and hard? Let's have a little moment and compare it to Jackson Pollock's painting. See if I can get it up for you. So the very first one we opened was a painting by Jackson Pollock. This one, if you can see it well. There we go. And let's put the two paintings beside each other and have a little look. See if we can find some similarities and some differences. I don't know if you can see. There we go. Now you might be able to see it better. Yeah? So do you see anything that's the same? Perhaps look a little bit at the colors. If that's clear. We talked a little bit about it. So Jackson Pollock used primary colors in his artwork. See the yellow, the red and the blue. This picture's got the same. I think you might say that this one is really tidy. Everything's got its space. Very neat lines. Looks very tidy. As Jackson Pollock's work, some of you described it as messy when we opened it. It looked messy. Messy but fun. So this painting is made by a man called Piet Mondrian, and I'm going to teach you a little bit more about him and his style. So Piet Mondrian comes from Holland, and we'll just find Denmark first, our famous little green blob up there, right there, and the Netherlands, Holland, the Netherlands is that red one right there, and they are very, very close together. Not that far of a travel. Piet Mondrian lived many, many years ago, and he was a Dutch painter. He developed his style because he believed that every object, so everything, could be broken down into just primary colors and lines. You can see the paintings here. This is what he started with. So he started looking at a windmill and trying to find the primary colors in it and the basic lines of it, taking away all the little windows and little things. And he did the same with this one, the red tree. And then he kept on and on, stripping more and more and more things away, just to be able to see if he could build it up from lines and shapes. Any idea what object this could be? A windmill? A tree? But this was an object too, something Piet Mondrian looked at and thought, I'm going to see if I can make this just in lines and rectangles and squares and the primary colors. Now, not everybody liked his artwork, because in the time that Piet Mondrian lived, a lot of people believed that true, real art was something that looked exact the same as that you saw it when you looked out your window. So some people even got a little bit angry and said, "This is not art! This is rubbish!" But luckily, Piet Mondrian didn't listen to them, and he kept going and believing in his type of art and his message that he wanted to bring. and now his paintings are very, very famous. I would like you to do some Piet Mondrian art yourselves. So now I'm going to give you some ideas for your own piece of art inspired by Piet Mondrian and his lines and squares. And to help me out, I have got Emma Sophia. Emma Sophia, we're going to start with a piece of white paper and a writing pencil, and then we are going to draw lines down from the top to the bottom, with a bit of space in between. Go for it. Yeah, just draw one line straight down. It's all right if your lines are a bit wobbly or a bit crooked. We are practicing our art. Yeah. Lovely line. See if you can get a few more in between, so we can have a good grid going on. And then when Emma Sophia is done with that, she's going to make lines starting at the left of her paper, which is on that side there, and she's going to make some lines going across with about the same distance. Now, if this at home turns out to be a little hard to do, you are welcome to ask for some help with this part. And while Emma Sophia finishes that, I am going to get a marker ready for her. A black marker. And some craft paper. There we go. So, when I look at Piet Mondrian's art piece, I can see that if this was what Emma Sophia had, that there would probably be lines going up and down all across here. Perhaps Piet Mondrian also started with a grid like Emma Sophia has made. But then he's chosen only to take a few of the lines. So Emma Sophia, with the black marker, can you draw for yourself a path through the painting? You can choose how big, how small, the distance in between. But see if you can make, just like he did, some different sizes of squares. So this is where you don't trace all the lines, but it's a bit like going with a car for a drive. And remember, your piece of art at home does not have to look like this, because your marker might choose to go a different way around on the paper. Probably tell by her face that she is very concentrated. Just lines, excellent. And then see if you can find some big and small squares that you can close. So you're splitting up some sections there. Yeah, and add a few maybe towards the end of the paper. So you've got plenty in a minute to choose what you'd like to color and what not. Excellent. Perfect. Good. Again, your grid will probably look very, very different, and your lines will look very different, and that is perfect. You don't want everyone to have the same piece of art. This is your art piece. What you can do next is that if you have black paper at home, you can cut some strips, and you can see if you can measure them and glue them. Cut them in size and glue them over your dark lines. Yeah? If you do not have black paper at home and you're not making any strips, then you can already skip that step and you can go straight into coloring. Now, just like Mondrian, we don't want to color every square. And we are using primary colors, which is your yellow, your blue, and your red. So the colors that you would use to mix other colors with are primary colors, just like Jackson Pollock used. If you'd like, you can use pencils, you can use markers for this, or you can grab some paints. Got some paints here. And if you've got crayons at home, you can take some crayons out. Let's see if I can find some crayons here from Sophia as well. Let's see. There we go. So it is completely up to you how you would like to finish your art piece. Maybe you even would like to mix it a little bit. Perhaps you'd like to use paint on some of the squares, markers or crayons on another one. Just remember to not fill everything in and leave some of them completely white. Yeah? And I will post a picture of Emma Sophia's finished art piece later. Have fun with it! Enjoy! I look forward to seeing your art piece too. Remember to ask mum or dad or brother or sister to help you put it up on the Padlet later today when you are finished. Bye! Bye-bye! And here is Emma Sophia's finished art piece. Her own very Piet Mondrian inspired art, which I think needs to be framed and hung up. I hope you enjoyed that art lesson. I look forward to seeing all your artwork later too.